Hello, and welcome back to A Frost and Flowers. I'm very excited to get back into it. That's why I'm recording this immediately after the last one because I'm very invested in the story now. But basically, last time, Alto and Kisha were traveling to find the underground library, and they were ambushed by Sol, who is Kisha's childhood friend, and then something happened and his soul was sucked out of him, and then he died. And then a different soul was sucked out of the book that they were going to deliver and is now inside of Kisha's body. But they're two completely different people. So I don't know what to expect. Well, we're going to find out. Anyway, let's get back into it. I'm really into it. If you couldn't tell by my enthusiastic voice acting, I'm really into it, okay? I'll protect you. I promise I won't let any harm befall you when I'm here. Alright then. I'll trust you. You can count on me. Oh. What is this? Blood? Ah! Oh wait, no, that's not her. Sorry, that was him. Kisha! You're bleeding. Why? Get out of here. Alto. Their target is me, not you. What are you saying? I couldn't possibly leave you. Goodbye, Alto. No, Kisha! Sol, why are you doing this? He's not the person he claimed to be. He's a criminal. Kisha's not a criminal. You didn't forget about our promise, did you? Blood. His blood was everywhere. Kisha's eyes were white. He was not breathing anymore and lay completely still. His body blocked the attack aimed at me, and it was his blood that poured in place of mine. No. This is a dream, right? No more. I don't want to see it happening again. Get me out of this nightmare. Kisha! Quickly she scrambled up. Though she yelled the name, her movements betrayed her shock at seeing the alchemist standing, alive. Eyes big, she stared, taken in his appearance. There he stood, no blood on his body or clothes, as if none of the nightmare had happened. Alto glomped onto the man, putting all of her strength into that one hug. Oh, thank God you're all right. I tell you what, I just had the strangest dream. She looked up at his face, only to meet a pair of frigid eyes which gazed at her with no emotion whatsoever. She's like, this isn't my Kisha. This isn't my Kisha. Kisha? What's wrong? The man Alto called Kisha sighed and removed her hands from his arm. Something's wrong. I can feel it. Sorry to break it to you, kid. I ain't Kisha. What do you mean you're not Kisha? Did you hit your head and lose your memories or something? Stop messing around with me. Kisha, say something. As Alto waited for the man to speak, fragments of memories gradually returned to her, and at long last, she finally realized that everything that transpired the previous day was no dream. The nightmare was real. She remembered the blood gushing out of his abdomen, spilling onto the ground like a waterfall. She remembered the touch of Kisha's cold skin on her fingers distinctly. She remembered the absent pulse on his wrist. But you were dead. Alto stared at the man again. He was clearly breathing, all of his wounds gone. How? The man groaned, rolling his eyes in exasperation. He sat on the table next to him, pulling one knee to his chest, and showed Alto the widest grin she had ever seen him wear. Oh my gosh! Kisha! Oh my god, he looks scary, but also kind of into it. Listen, If you don't know, my favorite love interests in all the otome games I play are literally the most deranged, morally gray people ever. You know, it's okay, it's fiction. It's okay to like those people fictitiously. In real life, obviously, I wouldn't like that, but like in a fiction. Oh, look at the art, it's beautiful. I love it. Told you before, I'm not that sweet alchemist, you know. Now that I think about it, even though he looks and sounds the same, he doesn't feel like the Kisha I know. She's like, he's not my Kisha, he's not mine. No, he's not. Like, who sits on a desk like that anyway? Kisha would never. That's what she's talking about? Okay, Alto, a little weird, but that's okay. We love you, girl. So if you're not Kisha, then who are you? Why are you using his body without permission? Me? Use his body without permission? The man laughed in wry amusement, slapping his thighs. That's gotta be the most hilarious joke I've ever heard. And in fact, you've got it quite the opposite. This body does not belong to him. Never did. He's been borrowing my body the entire time. He leapt off the table, approaching Alto, an unfamiliar flicker of mischief in his magenta eyes. Lithiel. Huh? That's my name. I don't normally tell my name to you mortals, but I hate being called by someone else's name. Lithiel, huh? Who are you exactly? If what you say is true, then why was Kisha in your body? And did the real Kisha really die? Lithiel opened his mouth to explain, but closed it when he saw the trembling girl, looking as if she barely had the strength to stand, let alone accept the truth. He dragged a chair to the table and beckoned for the girl to take a seat. Come here. After making sure the girl obeyed him, Lithiel gave her a mug of a bubbling beverage. Girl, don't accept any beverage he gives you. He's a demon. Drink this. Alto stared at the gray oh god. Viscous or it's not vicious, obviously. Viscous. Listen, I'm sorry. You're probably like, what's wrong with this person? I swear, I'm an adult who can read words. Whose smell reminded her of the mortar used to build houses. She fought the urge to question its contents and drank it, reminding her of the first time Kisha had offered her a drink. Drink this. What is it? It's a medicinal drink. It'll restore your energy. But as soon as she gulped its contents, Alto forced herself to swallow the beverage, almost choking herself in the process. What the heck is this hideous drink? You don't like it? It's silver bloom soup. Alto almost vomited on the spot. Silver bloom soup? Are you crazy? Oh, don't be so dramatic. Do you see anything in this forest other than silver blooms? No, right? Well, one's gotta live with limited resources somehow. But is that thing even edible? Anything is edible if you try hard enough. That does not answer my question! Humans and their unfounded worries. If it makes you feel any better, my years of research have proven that it is safe for consumption, and that its nectar could also be used for adhesives. I fixed a few torn books using its nectar. A very useful specimen indeed. What is he, the library demon? Like the demon of the library? That doesn't make it any better. You're technically saying I just drank glue. I've prepared you a meal and given you a place to stay. Can't you be a bit more grateful? You're right. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me stay here. Girl, don't thank him. Girl, fight him. No, don't thank him. Give him, glare at him. Make his life miserable until he gives Kisha back. Huh. Now that you mention it, where are we? You're a bit slow on the uptake, aren't you? This is my home, which you might know as the underground library. The underground library? This is the so-called underground library? And it's also your home? For once, a smile less equivalent to a sneer settled on Lethiel's lips. Yes, I created this place and lived in it for hundreds of years. Each book you see here is my treasured possession. Hundreds of years? Lethiel, who exactly are you? Have you heard about the myth regarding the exiled god of knowledge? Yeah, I know we read about it when we were in the library. Literally, I read it like an hour ago, and I don't remember what I read. I'm sorry, my reading comprehension isn't the best. We're just gonna pretend to guess. I know, I remember exactly what that book said. I don't. Yeah, it's the one that goes like, the god of knowledge planned some wicked schemes against other gods and as punishment was exiled from the sky realm and had his powers sealed. Did I get that right? Humans truly have twisted my history. Your history? The exiled god of knowledge from the myths is none other than me. What? You're the exiled god of knowledge? No, that's impossible. Does that mean I've been talking to a god this entire time? And that means that Kisha has been borrowing a god's body? Why would he do that, and why would you let him? We formed a pact. This may take some time to explain, but I want you to hear it. Maybe then you can help me execute my plan and save Kisha. Well, that got her attention. Save Kisha? You mean... Kisha's not dead, if that's what you're wondering. His soul has simply been taken by those bounty hunters, which I presume should be on the way to his original body. So Kisha's still alive after all. Oh, thank goodness. What do you mean by saving him, and what plan are you talking about? Tell me, kid. It's not kid. It's Alto. Okay, Kid Alto. I hear Alto and I'm like thinking of Altoids. Oh my goodness, some Altoids. What do you know about the Chrismalia project? Huh? It's a strange question. Now that I think of it, I recall one of the bounty hunters saying something along the lines of bringing Kisha back to the Chrismalia project. Could he be a part of them? And that's probably why he's so adamant about her not having anything to do with them. Because he knows the evils that go on there. I've always admired the Chrismalia project's ideals since I was a child. I was one of the people who couldn't use magic, you see. So the Chrismalia project and their vision were like a dream to me. A future where everyone can experience the joy of using magic. Just imagine that. Magic capabilities would no longer be a topic for discrimination. But Kisha once told me that the project's methods are questionable and that are doing more harm than good to nature. I still want to believe in their ideals, I really do. But there's always a possibility that they're keeping something sinister under wraps. A fan of the organization, aren't you? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't supportive of their vision. That doesn't mean she's supportive of the vision, but that doesn't mean she's supportive of what they're doing to achieve that mission, vision. I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. It was just like, goodbye. Lethiel failed to hide his snicker. I suppose that means you're my fan now. Eh? What? What do you mean? You mean you made the Chrismalia project? No way that's true, right? Luthiel turned to the bookshelf behind him, effortlessly selected some of the books, and laid them out on the table. Here's my collection of research, ranging from extracting flux from natural objects, infusing inanimate objects with flux, and my thesis on the initial prototype of the Chrismalia. As Luthiel explained and rambled about his research, the books continued stacking on top of each other until it was a mountain, and Alto could only stare at it, her mouth half open. You wrote all these books? How long did it take you? A couple of centuries. That makes sense. As somebody also writing a book, it takes forever. Though that's not true. It really just depends on the person. I once wrote a novel in a summer, whereas the one I'm working on right now is about it's 52,000 words right now, and not even halfway, and I've been working on it for years. Because I do it and then I'm just like, meh. And then I think about it and I'm just like, meh, I don't feel like writing it. I'll think about it. I have it in my head, but getting it out on the paper takes a long time. Anyway, tangent. Researching flux when you are cursed to live without it is a headache. That's for sure. I could imagine. I still can't believe he's a god. The exiled god of knowledge, too. As he speaks, I'm more and more convinced that he's not just some delusional maniac pretending to be a god. And what's more, he said he founded the Chrismalia project. But submitting my books and research journals may be my greatest regret yet. Why's that? I wrote each of them under a pseudonym, but about 100 years ago, a group of scholars were able to locate me. A bunch of smart humans they were. They shared their visions with me to create a world where magic is distributed equally, and begged me to become their mentor. I was impressed by their enthusiasm, and so I taught them. I taught them everything I've learned, everything I know. And just when I thought I finally found human friends I could trust, time happened. Time? The only thing that separates gods from humans is mortality. Humans live within a small fraction of our lifespan, so it seems to them that gods live forever, and that we don't understand the concept of mortality, that our lives will soon come to an end. But if you know the truth of Gaia and how it came to be, you'll understand that gods and humans are not so different after all. While we seem to be eternal, us gods have an expiry date marked on our heads too. The truth of Gaia? What does that mean? I digress. What I mean to say is that as years passed, these humans were undoubtedly getting closer to death, and it wasn't long until the project's ultimate goal took a turn. Instead of creating Chrismalia shards to make others experience magic, they wanted to use it to make themselves immortal. Making themselves immortal? That would require a tremendous amount of flux. Is that correct? Flux like that couldn't be extracted harmlessly from nature anymore. It would require a greater power source to revitalize their body and oppose time's flow. For once, Lithiel stared at her, unblinking, almost impressed at her usage of technical jargon. Huh, you catch on quick, kid. Who told you that? Kisha did. Sort of, at least. He lectured me a lot when we were in Osteron. Even mentioning Kisha's name had her heart screaming, yet she tried to swallow the feeling and forced herself to continue. He said that it's impossible to extract the flux from trees and flowers, but he didn't tell me how the Chrismalia project is gathering their resources. Take a guess, then. Could it be that they're extracting flux from humans? Lithiel could not help but snicker, not hiding how amused he was of the girl now. Now that is a brave accusation, young lady. Are you saying that the Chrysmalia Project, the very organization you admire, has resorted to human exploitation? Well, you told me to guess. Is it too far-fetched? I don't know. No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. No, you're not far from the mark. There's only so much flux you can harness from things like flowers, trees, and frost, and they desired for much more. Some years after I mentored the scholars who later found the Chrysmalia Project, they started to perform these forbidden experiments behind my back. By the time I figured it out, it was already too late. Driven by the favorable results, they continued to extract flux from living beings to achieve their goal of immortality. It started out with animals, fish, chicken, birds, which contained more flux as they possess what other living organisms lack: consciousness. Consciousness implies a larger gift of flux bestowed by Gaia itself, and they exploited those for their own necessities. I tried to stop them many times, of course, but there is only so much a weak non-magic user like me can do. Lithiel... Anyway, it was only a matter of time before they committed the biggest sin known to mankind: manslaughter. So they really... The Chalia tribe. They were the first victims to their ambitions. As you probably know, the land that was once occupied by the Chalia tribe is now the Chrysmalia Project's territory. It was not a coincidence that their main laboratory was built there. You mean that the project was responsible for their extinction? Partly responsible, yes, but not entirely. The Chalia tribe are a fragile lot, after all. No way. Lithiel started to put the books back into their respective shelves, allowing Alto a moment to digest all the information. Sorry to shatter your dreams, kid, but that's the truth behind the Chrysmalia Project. Now, as for where Kisha fits in. Alto immediately perked up, gazing at Lithiel with a pleading, almost desperate look. I won't speak too much about his past, but he was both an alchemist and a practiced sorcerer. That is, before he was captured by the project and forced to work under them. Kisha. So he's a sorcerer, huh? That means he's been living his entire life with magic. No wonder he seems so unaccustomed to being inside Lithiel's body. And yes, as you know, this body is not his. His original body is still in the project's headquarters. Are we gonna get to see his original body? I'm curious. Oh, that's what she literally just said. I'm curious. How did the pact between you and him happen? Ooh. After I tried again and again to put an end to their plans, they locked me in a dungeon beneath their headquarters. I would be left there to rot for the rest of my life, or so they thought. But even if I couldn't use magic, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. Throughout the years, I've mastered the art of separating the soul from the body. It's not an easy feat, given that I've been training for hundreds and thousands of years just to master it, so I always leave it as a last resort. Anyway, I separated my soul from my body, leaving my body empty in that room while my soul resided inside the pages of a book, waiting for a powerful candidate to help me demolish the project. I waited for decades. I didn't even remember how much time had passed. Staying in a book has made me lose all sense of time. But I finally found someone. A powerful sorcerer who shared the same resentment for a project as much as I did. He goes by the name Kisha, a valuable asset to the project, but reduced to nothing more than a test subject in their eyes. Despite Kisha's magical abilities, he was nothing more than the project's pawn, once he had the Chrismalia shard embedded in him. Leaving the headquarters or doing anything funny would only kill him. And that was when we formed a pact. I'd give him my body to escape for the time being, and he, in turn, would give me his magic capabilities to power a device I'd been working on. A device to end the Chrismalia project once and for all. Such a device actually exists? It's a work in progress. I was building it before you woke up. Unfortunately, our plan has gone to shambles, and Kisha's soul is now back in the headquarters. He'll be back in his own body, and there's no way a puppet can do anything to retaliate against its master. We have to go save him! He's just a puppet controlled by the project, huh? Is there any way I can help you, Lithiel? I wish I could say yes, but a non-magic user helping me will only pose problems for you, kid. How so? Everyone was born with flux, nature's gift to all conscious beings, but only a few could harness them. It is, in a way, your life essence. So if I were to extract the flux from your soul, there is a chance that you'll die, or that your lifespan will be cut off. Extracting flux from Kisha was my original plan. Taking in flux from an experienced sorcerer's soul would pose little to no problem for the body, but to extract flux from a human who cannot control their flux would pose a huge risk. I'm willing to risk it. You're right, it's too dangerous. I'm willing to risk it for him, for Kisha. I'm willing to risk myself for Kisha's sake. There must be something I can do. Alto suddenly thought of the pin Kisha gave her and brushed her fingers along her lapel to search for it, but it was gone. Oh no, could it be lost in the ambush yesterday? Lithiel stood up, pushing his chair in. I'm sure it must have been a long day for you, kid. Why don't you take this time to rest before deciding on a whim? But I... Sure, I'd love to extract some flux from you, but as a former god, a human's life is something I cannot trifle with. I understand. Feel free to take a walk in the woods, but come back before sunset, unless you want to get lost in the mist. Okay. Thanks for taking the time to explain this, Lithiel. No, girl, go find him! Go get your mans! No problem. He's like, huh? No one ever thanked me before. Alright. I think I'll clear my head a bit. What should I do first? Read a book, take a walk outside, see what he's up to. Let's go outside first. Alto climbed up the staircase and opened the hatch that led to the above ground. Surprisingly, it was already past noon. It was hard to keep track of time inside of the underground library, after all. I can't stay out for too long. But if there's a place I've been wanting to check... Alto made a mental note of the underground library's location and let her legs and instinct lead the way. Her body led her to the place where Kisha was taken, but she was not here to grieve or beat herself up over what happened. Instead, she looked around at the place, careful not to disturb any of the silver blooms resting in their bushes. It must have fallen around here somewhere. I found it! Alto fished out a flower pin from a throng of bushes, the same one that Kisha gifted her at Al-Sharon's market. She breathed a sigh of relief seeing the pin unharmed in any way. The pink crystals decorating the ornament were fortunately uncracked, despite the foray. Attaching it on her clothes once again gave her a newfound resolve. Kisha, I promise I'll save you. Alto turned back and returned to the underground library. Girl, yes, save him. I need more time to think. What should I do next? Read a book. Deciding it was best to stay indoors at the moment, Alto took a stroll around the wide space called the underground library. The library truly lives up to its name. There are so many books, I don't even know where to start. Alto climbed up to the second floor and stopped in front of a random bookshelf, idly scanning its titles. Healing effects of plants, turbidity in Hoshira Desert, Silver Blooms, a survival guide, how to live with a single plant. The last one sounds a bit suspicious. Hold on. Did Lithiel write all of these books? I know he's a god and a learned scholar, but still, what a madman! Alto moved away from the bookshelf and proceeded to another one, a book with a pretty spine decorated with dried petals, evidently different from the others, caught her attention. She pulled the book from the shelf and read its title. Zinnias. I remember that flower name. It was the same flower that Kisha... Her hand instinctively touched her hair, to where the zinnia flower Kisha had gently placed had once been. Curiosity getting the better of her, she opened the book and started reading. Zinnias are a species of summer plants that thrive in a sunny region. Though it has no fragrance, its bright and diverse colors make them a popular choice for gardens. They come in a variety of colors, including white, yellow, red, orange, purple, and magenta. According to popular flower language, white zinnias represent innocence and goodness. Red zinnias represent strong bonds. Yellow zinnias represent daily remembrance, while magenta and pink zinnias represent romantic and eternal affection. What color zinnia did he put in her hair? I can't remember. I'm trying to think what color. I have to go back and look at my first part. What color did he put in her hair? Please, I need to know. Wait, didn't he give me a pink one? Oh, he did. Oh, he gave her a pink one. All these cutie fluffy things. No. Don't think too much about it, Alto. He probably doesn't know its meaning. Yeah. Yet, common folks associate zinnias with endurance in many forms, reminding them that setbacks are temporary and that winter will eventually pass. These flowers are generally weak in cold climates. The slightest signs of frost could kill them. Yet zinnias live up to their message. People found a new variation that could thrive for a few weeks in the coldest of winters. Alto was so engrossed in the book that she actually finished reading it. There were some technical explanations at the back which she skipped through. Endurance in times of hardship, huh? I'll definitely rescue you, Kisha. Even so, I need a bit more time. Maybe I'll see what Lithiel is up to. Feeling bored, Alto approached Lithiel, who was tinkering with an intricate-looking device at a corner of the library. I still can't believe he's a god. It all seemed like a tall tale, but it feels like he's telling the truth. So the entire time, the Kisha I thought I knew wasn't truly Kisha at all. No, that's not true. Even though he was using Lithiel's body, deep down he's still kind and gentle Kisha, the person who saved me. Alto caught a glimpse of a familiar painting hanging on one of the library's walls. At closer inspection, she realized it was the very same canvas she gave to Kisha. Oh, there it is. I thought it was lost in the ambush. The painting portrayed a moment suspended in time, Kisha gazing at the distinct glacial mountains with his platinum hair flowing in the wind, the zinnia flowers that danced merrily against the wind. Though Alto was now aware that the man in the painting was actually Lithiel, deep down she somehow knew that the real Kisha would also be as picturesque, fitting snugly inside the canvas. That painting, eh? That boy is really fond of it. I know a piece of art when I see one, so I took the liberty of pinning it there for the time being. Once Kisha escapes from his prison, you can give it back to him. Oh? He complimenting me? That's a surprise. Ugh, but could you imagine my disgust when he did to you with my body? Did what to me? What are you talking about? Do you realize how awkward it is when he touched your hair and put a flower and held your hand and it's all with my body? I'm sorry, but that's so funny. I just meant, oh, my body touched a girl. How dare, how dare he? You were there? I was with the two of you the entire time, damn it. As Alto recalled all the moments she had interacted with Kisha, her cheeks gradually turned beet red. That's so funny. He's probably just there like, ugh. Now that I think of it, I've been doing all that with Lithiel's body. Gosh, this is awkward. Lithiel, I'm sorry. Don't come near me. This entire incident actually makes me misanthropic. It would be great if he did that when he was in his body. I explicitly told him not to interact with any humans. Oh, he touched a girl's hand. Oh, how dare he? But he just had to rescue you and fall in love with you. Ooh. What? Did he say that? No. Wasn't it obvious? No. Oh. Okay. Never mind then. I can't do it. Like, wasn't it obvious? Oh, oops. Oh, never mind. Just spilled his whole, the other guy, you know, just told her that he's in love with her. Now, Shu, run along. I'm dealing with some sensitive equipment here, and I don't want you to trip and ruin everything. Okay. Well, I suppose I'm done exploring. Now I don't know what to do. Theo turned away from his tinkering and blinked at Alto. You seem refreshed. Done with your little adventure? Mm-hmm. There's still much to explore in your library, though. Oh, that pin you have. This? The one that Kisha gave me? Never mind. It must have been my imagination. What? What was your imagination? Tell me, I don't know. Anyway, my device is almost complete. After mulling things over, have you finally decided? Yes. I'm going to save Kisha no matter what. I'll make this plan of yours succeed and put a stop to the Chrismalia project. Even if you might end up losing your life? That won't happen. Good. I like that fire in your eyes. But first, it's late. Let's get some dinner. I need to fine-tune it, and we can execute the plan tomorrow. Great. What's for dinner? It's gonna be like that misty blossom like slop again. Lothiel brought out a pot of steaming soup from the stove, and judging from the smell... Oh, don't tell me. Silver bloom soup, your favorite. No. Kisha, come back. I miss your food already. Piero, what's going on? You've done it again, haven't you? It's none of your business. Didn't I tell you to stop taking part in the tests? Your body will break if you keep this up. You're as hard-headed as ever. Never mind. Come here and let me heal you. Oh, he's got a crystal in his chest. So he's a magic user in the Chrismalia project, and they're sucking him dry. I can't. Oh god. Why did I say it like that? I'm sorry. They're sucking his energy dry. That's what it's okay. Let's move on. But Piero had no strength left to move. He tried to prop himself up by leaning against the wall, but his trembling legs gave up the moment he did. Piero coughed again, continually this time, and color drained from the woman's face when she saw blood instead of phlegm. Piero! She immediately supported him and placed her hand on his forehead, letting her innate power handle the rest. The man's breathing gradually steadied, and all the pain he felt earlier subsided. Closing his eyes momentarily, he took refuge in the warmth emanated by the potent healing spell. Ellis, wasn't that the girl who was with Soul and Alto the whole time? They were three of them. 3 childhood friends. Isn't that her? She's the one that they're looking for? He looked at her face, teary-eyed, skin pale as snow, face washed with worry. Yes? Thank you. Piero, why do you insist on continuing to help them with the project when you know its true nature? Is ambition really worth all the damage you've done to your body? It is. It's worth it. I have a mission to accomplish, and I have a vision to make a better world. A world where everybody is equal, and that is achievable only by harnessing the Chrismalia's powers. After Ellis finished casting her spell, Piero gathered himself and rose to his feet. Thanks for always being there for me, Ellis. I couldn't have done this without you. He turned to the doorway, but Ellis stopped him. Wait, where do you think you're going? Back to the lab. Now that Subject 13... Oh wait, no, that's not her, sorry. Now that Subject 13, my rival, is gone from the project, I must take this opportunity to win Lictus's trust. You're not going anywhere with that body of yours. You need to rest. Your healer instructs you to do so. Oh dear, what will I do with you? Although traces of exhaustion laced his words, he could not hide the fondness he held for this woman. I suppose I can't fight you. I'll go and get some rest, as per my healer's instructions. Yeah, you better. I can't bear to see you get hurt again, Piero. I'll take better care of myself from now on. I promise. You better keep that promise. Though Piero had regained some of his strength from the spell, Ellis's arm was still wrapped under his in support. She slipped her other arm around him in an embrace as simple and necessary as breathing, firm, but not squeezing him too tightly. Piero sagged into her, wrapping his arms around her and holding her as tightly as he could, which was not as tightly as it had once been. But for now, it was enough. It was everything. Chapter 6, Beneath the Frost. I'm going to do a little bit of this chapter. I don't know if I'm going to finish this whole chapter in this video, but I want to continue on just a little bit more. It wasn't supposed to be like this. The building shook and trembled. The building shook and trembled from the explosion, collapsing on itself. The girl struggled to remain conscious. It was a losing battle, except a flash of golden hair. Someone crying for her to live. Then silence. The stranger had disappeared. She tried to get up. Her body had magically healed, but if she could not get herself out of the building, she would die. However, no matter how hard she tried to force herself to move, she couldn't. Footsteps, the swish of a cape, a man with blonde hair and piercing pink eyes was standing over her. Who are you? The man remained silent, but carried her limp body outside of the burning building. A safe distance away, he gently placed her down. That man, he saved my life. Now that I think of it, wasn't that man Kisha? A dream? I should have known. Oh, is that like a dream of her past? So Kisha had saved her once before, like even before she was going to be executed. He saved her once before that too. Yet it felt so real. Alto stretched and stood up from the makeshift mattress she had created from Lithiel's pile of silver bloom leaves the previous day. Lithiel was still sound asleep in his hammock at the other side of the room, even though Alto could already see the midday sun from the opened entrance of the library. Lithiel, wakey wakey! Shut up, woman. Wow, talk about rude. I'm not an early riser, all right. Just leave me alone and eat the breakfast I prepared on the table. Breakfast? I mean... Alto glanced at the open pot on one of Lithiel's tables, holding nothing but the previous night's obnoxious silver bloom soup. This girl would kill for a burger. This girl's like, oh, please give me anything else. The man did not even bother closing the lid, and it would not be surprising if some dust or spiders had found their way inside. Alto turned around to protest, but Lithiel was already back asleep. I suppose I'll have to make do with the soup then. Sometimes I wonder how he could even survive. After what seemed like hours, Lithiel finally rose from his hammock, grabbing a bowl from the table and scooping a ladleful of silver bloom soup. Wait, Lithiel, there's a cobweb. But Lithiel had already downed the bowl's contents. Did you say something? Never mind. How are you feeling? Now that all preparations are complete, I'll only need to borrow your body to power the portal. You're done with all the preparations? But last night the portal was barely... I'm called the god of knowledge for a reason, kiddo. You mean the exiled god of knowledge? Girl, say that out loud. Burn him. Make him get some aloe vera for that burn. Anyway, make sure you eat a lot. Otherwise your body won't be able to handle the process. Here. Lithiel dumped another scoop of the dreaded soup onto Alto's bowl, and she tried hard not to retch. She slid the bowl back to him. I think I'll be fine without the soup. I ate a bowl for breakfast already. Is that so? All right then, let's begin the experiment. After gulping down Alto's bowl of silver bloom soup, Lithiel scuttled to the mirror, or as he called it, the portal. Oi, kid, bring your bed this way. Excuse me, what? Why do you want her to bring the bed? Alto sighed, doing as she was told. Okay, master. Master, eh? It's been a long time since someone called me that. I like to think that because he's the god, he doesn't understand sarcasm, and I feel like she's not really calling him as, she's just being sarcastic. Despite only having known Lithiel for less than 2 days, Alto knew that this so-called exiled god of knowledge enjoyed having his ego pumped. Yeah, obviously. Hello? I mean, he is pretty amazing to have finished all these intricate mechanisms in one night. Don't tell him that, though. Don't let his ego get even bigger. There. Perfect. Now lie on it and steady your breathing. Alto did just that, but as Lithiel readied the apparatus around her, she could not help but feel restless. There was no way she could be calm. What if I don't have enough flux for the portal to work? What if the portal itself malfunctions? What if something goes horribly wrong and I lose my life? Lithiel paused from arranging his apparatus and turned to Alto, his expression unusually grim. Are you having second thoughts? You don't have to do this, you know. It wasn't your fault that Kisha was taken away. You don't have to feel obligated to risk your life for someone you've only known for a few days. Lithiel has a point. I've only met Kisha for a few days, and now I realized how I know so little about him. But even though his body was actually Lithiel's, I'm certain that whatever his body may be, he's still the same Kisha that I know. And no matter what the circumstances, I will save him. But why am I trying so hard for him? Lithiel sighed, leaning on Alto's mattress. Tell me, Alto, why would you go all the way to help us out with this plan? It can't just be to find the healer. If it was, then you'd be with your bounty hunter friend. Lithiel is asking the same question I've asked myself. But deep down, I already know the answer. Why I'm ready to risk my life for this plan. It's for Kisha. It's for Kisha. He's done so much for me. And it's time for me to repay him. Repay him? Just admit that you like him already. I do not. It's just, Lithiel put his hand on Alto's shoulder. If it's you, I'm sure you can save him. Lithiel, are you ready? Yes. Good. After making sure Alto was relaxed and her breathing was steady, Lithiel cranked a lever and soon the mirror's reflection rippled like waves. Its surface lit up, and as the light shone brighter and brighter, Alto felt her energy gradually ebb away. Her limbs grew weaker, eyelids heavy, and for a few moments she felt impossibly numb under the bright light. I'm feeling so tired. Just then, something glowed on Alto's lapel. Kisha's pin! It's glowing! It saved her. It saved her from being taken by the magic. Oh, my heart can't handle the fluff. I love it. I love fluff. Okay, I love it. The pin shone a faint glow of red, and after a while, she felt the energy that had been taken away returning back to her. Soon the machine finally stopped whirring, and the lights on the floor dissipated. Alto did not realize how loud the machine was until it died down. Only then did she hear Lithiel's shouts. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong? Oh, I thought you were gone for good. Is everything all right? Any signs of abnormality? Alto examined her body. She sighed in relief when she found nothing out of place. I'm glad nothing bad happened to me. I wonder why Kisha's pin shone all of a sudden, though. Alto took the said pin from her lapel. The ruby in its center had cracked, and its previously golden frame was now blackened, as if colored with soot. What happened here? Lithiel, come and take a look at this. The pin Kisha gave me. This pin. Lithiel took the pin and inspected it closely. Kisha said it was a memento from his mother. Oh, that explains it. He returned the broken pin to Alto. In certain cultures, especially in the desert region, it is a practice to pass your flux into an object and give it to the younger generation before you pass away. I assume this must have contained the flux of Kisha's late mother. So we use all of his late mother's power and magic? We better save him. It must have been activated due to the surge of flux, and it must have protected you. I hate to admit it, but your flux does not seem adequate to open the portal. If we had continued the experiment without the addition of another's flux, you might have not made it. I might have not made it, huh? Alto shuddered at the thought. So this memento, the flux inside it protected me. I must apologize for my oversight. He gazed at his hand with a wistful expression. If only I had my flux back. I could probably see your flux and make proper calculations. Lithiel. Anyway, there's no time to waste. I estimate that the portal will only be open for another hour. Kid, if you're feeling weary, you should just stay here and rest. I'll save Kisha, and I'll bring that healer friend of yours when I have the chance. No, we're going in there and we're getting our man. No way! I'm going with you. Are you sure? You'll really be risking your life. Don't worry. Risk is my middle name. What strange parents you have to give you a name like that. Oh my god. He doesn't get sarcasm and he doesn't understand What would it be called? Hyperbole? No, it's not hyperbole. Am I just dumb? He doesn't understand when she's rhetorical. Rhetorical? No, that's not right either. Listen, I'm sorry. He doesn't understand humans. It's just an expression. Anyway, I'm going with you, and that's final. I'm going to save Kisha and bring Ellis back. Just you watch. There's no stopping you, I guess. Great. Now let's get this portal up and running. Lithiel tinkered with the mirror again and muttered to himself, presumably making final calculations. After cranking a hidden lever, the portal's reflection started to distort, rippling like water until it displayed an unfamiliar location. Lithiel then stood in the magic circle inscribed on the floor. Everything seems to be fine. Now stand in this circle. Alto did just that, and after making sure she was ready, Lithiel cranked another lever, causing the portal to suck them right in. Ah! And I'm going to end it here. I'm sorry. I know it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but I'm going to end this part here. And then in the next one, we're going to save Kisha. I'm going to save him. And they're going to live happily ever after, okay? I'm really hoping that we can see what Kisha actually looks like. I'm pretty curious. Because I do remember when they were in Al Sharon, she was like, when he said he was born there, she was like, you don't look like someone who was born here. And that's probably because obviously that's because that wasn't his body, but I'm wondering what he really looks like. Anyway, I'm going to save here and I will start it up. And we will continue from here in the next part. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really enjoying this game a lot so far. The story has really sucked me into it, and I'm so into it right now. I just want to keep playing and keep reading. So, bravo to the writers or the writer, if there's more than one or not. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's a very good game. Please, if you want, it's free. Please download it. Get it on Steam. Get it on itch.io. Do it. Okay. Anyway. I will see you all in the next part where we will save Kisha and hopefully get a happy ever after. Alrighty. Bye-bye.